Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Full day outside, and so I thought I would come out here. We are doing this little arm extension thing and I already feel my shoulder burning, so hopefully I can make this work. Okay, so the last time, or during my last video, towards the end, I had shared that I have a few segments per se that I have in mind, and so I was trying to figure out which one would be best for my second video. Last video was an introductory video, so this is where like the content and the information starts rolling in, and brilliant idea popped into my head. When it comes to fitness and nutrition, the first thing you need is a goal. What we're going to be doing today is making goals. And when we make goals, we want to be smart about them. And by smart, I mean we want to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Okay, so yes, we want to be smart, but we also want to use our fun little acronym to create SMART goals. So what we're going to go over today is what is a SMART goal, how to create one, and what to do once you have a SMART goal. So specific, what does that mean? So when it comes to making a goal, the more specific you are, the easier it is to see the journey. Sorry if I keep looking up. I wrote this like huge script just to ensure that all the information that I want to say actually gets said, because oftentimes if I could just kind of like speak on the spot, you know, I forget a thing or two. So just don't mind me looking down at my computer every now and then. So when it comes to specific goals, I've been working at Gold's Gym for a month now. And when I have consultations with members, one of the first questions I ask them is, okay, what is your current goal? What are you currently working towards? And most responses are very vague. And so then it's my job to dig a little bit deeper, to change their answer from, for example, I want to lose weight, and kind of change that to, okay, I want to lose 15 pounds. That way we have a little bit more of a specificity in the sentence, and we'll expand on that as we go on. Alright, so now that we are specific, now we want to be measurable. Okay, so you want a goal that you can track. In order to do this, we need to know your starting point. So for example, if you say that your body fat percentage is 24% and you want to knock that down to 20%, that's going to speak a lot more volumes than just saying, hey, trainer, I want to lose body fat percentage. Great! Me too! But we kind of need to know where you're starting and where you want to go. And so you want to be measurable. And so because you know your starting point, and if you don't, that's something we can figure out for sure. But you want, when it comes to any goal, when it comes to either you're tracking pounds, you're tracking measurements, you're tracking body fat percentage, you're tracking your water intake, food ounces, etc. You want to start tracking those numbers. That way, as time goes on, you can kind of compare where you're currently at to where you started to see if what you're doing is working or if some adjustments need to be made. Alright, so after you've been specific and measurable, now you want it to be attainable. So when it comes to being attainable, you want a goal that is within your means. Oftentimes when someone's wanting to start a fitness journey, they want to go all in right away, which is great. I love the enthusiasm. However, if, for example, you're someone who hasn't been to the gym in 6 months and tomorrow you say, hey, starting tomorrow, I'm going to start going to the gym 5 to 6 times a week, you're setting yourself up for failure. You've already built this habit of not going to the gym. Now you need to rebuild a habit of going to the gym. And unfortunately, setting yourself up to go 5 to 6 times after not going for a long period of time just isn't very attainable for your lifestyle. It might work for a few days or even maybe a week, but after a while you're gonna get a little burnt out. And because that was your only goal, was that drastic measure, you're gonna feel very discouraged when you aren't able to meet that goal. And because you feel discouraged, you're gonna feel overwhelmed and you're going to want to quit and not continue. And so when I say attainable, you want to be gracious towards yourself and understand that it's a process, okay? And sometimes that's really hard for us to understand and hard for us to grasp. We want change and we want it now. Especially when it comes to fat loss, I use this, ooh, there's a bug. Guess that's what happens when you video outside. So for example, I'm gonna relate to fat loss a lot, just because that's something that's kind of like my story and where I started, so it's where I can relate to the most people, and it's also one of the most common goals within the fitness industry. Just kind of is, which is great. People want to make changes, but when people are wanting to make those changes, they often want them quickly, as I was saying. But I also have to remind people that, hey, it didn't take you a week to gain the fat percentage you're at now, it's not going to take a week to lose it, unfortunately. That's just not the way it's gonna work. And if you kind of go into your journey with that mentality, you're gonna see a lot more results physically and mentally than if you would just saying, oh no, I'm gonna lose it all in a month. Okay? So along with attainable, I actually came up with this, it's not on Google. I wasn't taught this. So A can also stand for action. So when it comes to what you're willing to do and what you're able to do to commit to those goals. So whatever your end goal is, what action are you committed to taking to reach that goal? So that can be that part. And that's where like there's another mosquito, sorry. So that's where attainable kind of matches action. So you want an attainable action per se. You don't want to set yourself up for failure, okay? Yes, it might be a little bit longer of a process to, you know, make slow strides, but the end result, you will be able to accomplish the end result sooner because you will be able to build habits and with the likeliness of not wanting to quit. So that's what the overall goal should be for anyone who's making a goal, is whatever the goal is, that it be a lifestyle change and not just a one-time thing. So for example, if you're wanting to lose fat, you want to lose it and never say hello to it ever again. You want to say bye-bye to the fat. So that's going to mean making lifestyle changes that actually last and not just making a change for 3 months, losing the fat, and then not having the habits to continue to keep going in the direction that you want, and then instead gain all the fat back. Okay, so not only do you want a goal that is within your means, but you want a goal that you are physically capable of achieving. For example, if someone shows up to the gym and they're like, hey, personal trainer Dom, I want to run a marathon next week and I haven't trained for it at all. Oh, and they want to run it under 3 hours. Okay, yeah, that's not realistic, okay? That's not going to be fun, Linda. That's not going to be a good time. I don't suggest you do that. Also, if someone says, let's see here, or if someone comes to the gym saying, hey, I want to be 0% body fat. All right. Again, not physically possible. The human body does need some fat, especially if you're female. So we're going to have to, we're going to have to adjust that. Just a little bit. So you want to make sure that your goals are realistic. If, for example, if I went to a trainer and said, hey, I want to be 80 pounds. That's not healthy. That's not realistic for my height, for my size. That's just, I have to get over that, Just like I have to get over that, I will probably never be a Victoria's Secret model because I'm 5'3". So oftentimes the difference between being attainable and being realistic get confusing for people. And so when it comes to making smart fitness and nutrition goals, attainable is a goal that can be achieved working within the means of your current lifestyle, making small, steadily changes and not drastic changes all at once. Whereas realistic is an understanding of your physical capabilities based on your body type. So hopefully that kind of helps you in making your goal differentiate the difference between attainable and realistic. Sorry if I keep looking down and moving around. These little buggies outside are loving my legs. They are just chowing down. But the lighting is just so pretty out here, and it's just a much better view than my plain back wall in my bedroom. All right, so the next one we're gonna be working on is timely. Okay, I'm getting eaten alive. Okay, so a huge part of creating a goal is setting a time, and this is something that often people miss or they kind of leave out when it comes to creating their goals. Without the time aspect of creating a goal, it's like going down a tunnel without ever seeing the end in sight. Eventually you'll lose interest in even continuing going down the tunnel. You want to set a goal time or an end time. Give yourself a deadline to meet per se, but also kind of going into it with the mindset that if this goal or deadline isn't met, that it isn't the end of the world. So setting a goal time or a deadline definitely increases the value of your goal. It kind of puts a little bit more pressure and a little bit more discipline in achieving what you're wanting to accomplish. And plus, countdowns are fun. So I always suggest when it comes to clients, and this is going to be based solely on what your goal is as an individual, but let's say that you're someone who wants to lose 50 pounds, okay? You want to lose 50 pounds by the end of the year. Okay, that's about, what, 7 months from now? Yeah? Okay, so that's 7 months from now. So that's a big goal. And oftentimes, 7 months, like, yes, you have the end of the tunnel, but it's very faint. It's very hard to see. And so we will set small goals along the way to encourage you to keep going, so that every time you hit that small goal, you're one step closer to that big picture goal, and it's just more encouraging for your journey. So that's something else that we can discuss if you do have a larger goal that you're wanting to accomplish. Just make sure that you're creating smaller goals too. Like, hey, if I want to lose 50 pounds in 7 months, okay, so my goal is to lose, what, like 5 pounds by the end of June. You know, start there. Or my goal is to fit in these size pants that I haven't been able to wear for 2 years by the end of July. You know, little things like that. So again, whenever you're starting on a fitness journey, you want to definitely take progress photos. I know you're gonna, it's a little uncomfortable, but you will thank yourself for doing it. I promise. Take all the photos that you can, because once you have hit your goal, you're gonna want to compare every little thing just to show off your accomplishment. So definitely do progress photos. You want to get your measurements, because oftentimes if you have just a scale, the scale can get a little discouraging if it's reading you a number but you're slimming down. So you definitely want to have those measurements to have that comparison as well. Okay, so using what we just talked about, let's create some goals. I am going to use a fitness related goal just because this channel is geared towards fitness and nutrition. However, if you do have a goal that isn't fitness and nutrition related, but just behavioral change in some way, whether it be financially or getting out of debt by a certain time, or if you have a goal of trying to figure out like what your passion is or whatever it may be, I am more than happy to help you in any way. I definitely think that SMART goals can be created for any kind of goal that you're wanting to achieve, and not just fitness and nutrition related. Since we already have the example of me wanting to lose 50 pounds, let's go ahead and use that goal. So oftentimes, again, people come into a gym or they talk to a professional and they say, hey, I want to lose weight. Great. So let's say that that's your starting point. Let's say that earlier today you woke up this morning and that was your primary goal, and now you watch this video and you're like, oh, I need to get a little bit more specific. I need to get a little bit more measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So let's say that you are 5'3" and 200 pounds and you want to lose 50 pounds. Okay, great. That's probably realistic. That's probably within your physical capabilities. Now let's add a timeline to it. Okay, let's use the example we had earlier. By the end of the year. Great. So we know that you're starting at 200 pounds. So you want to get down to 150 by the end of the year. That is realistic. So now we got to add the action and the attainable aspect to it. So what are you going to do to reach this goal? If you're someone who eats out 3 times a day and doesn't exercise whatsoever, then saying that, hey, next week I'm going to start eating clean and working out 6 times a week, probably not attainable. So let's start small. Okay, let's say you do eat out 3 times a day. Let's cut that down to 2, and maybe we kind of figure out or kind of substitute what you are eating. Let's say you go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac and a large fry and a large Coke. Okay, maybe we can do a Big Mac, a small fry, and maybe like a Diet Coke, or maybe try and get that water intake up. You know, it doesn't have to be a drastic change right away. Oftentimes, if you have these habits that if you try to break out of a habit so quickly, again, it can get overwhelming, and you know, we're back to square one. Okay guys, I am getting eaten alive out here. I have like welts all over my legs, so I am gonna have to wrap this video up now, and I do apologize. However, I do want you guys to know that I am available for one-on-one coaching. If you guys need a little bit extra than what this video provided, definitely send me an email. My email is domwhitefitness@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you, even if you have a goal and don't need to hear any more from me from this video or any other, and you just want to share your goal with me. I would love to hear it. But I am available for one-on-one coaching, accountability. Sometimes when we have these goals, we're like, okay, how do we put them into action? And how do we stick to it? Because that can definitely be the hardest part of it all. It's very easy to say what you're going to do, but actually being able to do it can be a little bit challenging, especially if you are starting very, very, very at the beginning and have no idea about fitness, nutrition, or what it takes to get from where you are to where you want to be. Okay, so definitely send me an email. I would love to help you out. Till next time, bye.